what inspired you to actually start the network?
A couple of things. First, I was frustrated with how Black people, especially Black women, are portrayed in media. And I remember looking looking hard trying to find good content and not really seeing what I was looking for. And so my husband and we got Netflix, and he's like, well, maybe we decide to cut the cord. And even, we have Netflix, but I still feel like it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And I was like, no, let's show us this channel that had Black content from around the world, and that would be positive instead of, focusing on negative stereotypes. And so I was like, why not me? Why, I'm crazy. Why not me? Who says it, right? So that was basically one of the reasons why I started Quality TV, because I was looking for this particular channel, and it didn't exist. And I know a lot of people who want to cut the cord because of how they see us on in the media, and I really wanted to do something different. And honestly, being an early adopter, a lot of times when it comes to something like Black people, a lot of times we're kind of behind the times when it comes to adopting new technologies. I mean, streaming isn't something that a lot of people are doing yet. It's something that people are starting to do. So I also really wanted to create something that is an emerging market versus the online magazine, where it's very difficult to get advertising, people seeing publishing as a dying, type of industry. So I really wanted to do something a little bit more cutting edge and use video as a way to empower people, because a lot of people watch a lot of TV. That's the reality. And so if we're going to watch television, if we're going to watch, videos and stuff like that, I want to make a difference. It can be entertaining, but also, want something else to make a difference. So those are the reasons why I started Quality TV.
Awesome. So I've known you always wanted to have your own network. I remember when we met, you were like, I want to have my own magazine, I want to have my own network, I want to be like the next Oprah. And so here you are, and I think I'm very proud of you, first of all. I think it's amazing.
Oh, girl, I don't have Oprah's money. I have, nobody's money right now, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. So is Empower Magazine still going strong? And is that something you're still marketing?
Yeah, so Empower, we're still updating content. People are still reaching out about, wanting to write. I will say that, since launching Quality TV, we don't update nearly as many articles as we did beforehand. I'm one person, and I probably would collapse and die, honest to God, if I were to do both, full steam ahead. I'm barely getting sleep now, with doing multiple Quality TV. So we're definitely taking a step back. I'm actually going to be deciding kind of what I want to do starting next year. One of the things that's really important to me is the Empower Players Awards that started 2 years ago, or not too, well, we finished almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, where we honor people doing positive things in the community, everyday people. And no matter what happens to Empower, the goal would be to try to make it maybe incorporated to Quality TV or maybe look at it at a different angle versus kind of what we're doing now. But definitely the goal is to keep the Empower Players Awards, because it's something that's very important to me. Instead of focusing on people like Twitter followers and they're on MSNBC every day or whatever, I really want to highlight the grandmama who opens up her home, or the guy who was in prison and, he's, working in the community. I really want to continue to be that platform to honor people who have little resources, little money, little time, and little clout, but they're, making a difference in our community. So right now, who knows kind of, where things go with Empower Magazine, but Empower Players Awards, my hope is that it doesn't go anywhere and we can continue to make a difference in people who are making a difference in the lives of others.
Awesome. So in terms of are you still in beta, or are you full speed ahead with the network?
We're still in beta. We're actually reworking the platform now based off of user experience, and we're hoping to have the official launch, hopefully, fingers crossed, by December 21st, if not within the first 2 weeks of January.
Awesome. So in terms of the network, tell us about the name of the network, how you came up with the name.
Sure. So Quality TV, Quality means truth in Swahili, and I spent a lot of time trying to find a catchy name, something was short that was in Swahili, so one in Swahili name, and it meant something. So I really spent a lot of time looking at Swahili dictionaries and trying to figure out what the best name would be, and I kind of narrowed it down and ended up choosing Quality TV because ultimately the goal is to show the true culture of the Black community versus what we typically see in mainstream media. So that's the whole mission, truth television. That's why I tell people the truth. It's how we are. And of course, the Black community around the globe is not perfect. We still have issues and disparities, but we can talk about those disparities, but we don't have to also be a network that sort of glorifies certain things within the community that we feel that we don't like. So that's the whole mission of what Quality TV is all about. And that's basically how I, came up with the name for what we're trying to do. It's really simple. I really was looking for just a name that really meant something. And a lot of people, they think it's a cute, catchy name, like, Quality TV, which it doesn't ring. Quality TV has a ring to it, but it means something as well.
That's awesome. So how, how many users do you have at this point?
So we kind of break it up in two different categories. So we have people who are actually early adopters who are actually subscribed to the platform. We have close to 1,000 people who have subscribed to the platform since launching it in July, the beta in July. And then we have about 8,000 registered users on the platform. Those are people who are potential renters. They're people who register on the platform. They haven't set up for a subscription, but they may, something comes out, a movie or show, and they were rented. And so that's kind of how we do the numbers. So 8,000 registered users and close to 1,000 paid subscribers.
Oh, okay. So you're gaining some momentum. That's exciting.
Yeah. It is.
Good. So how does my blog, I don't know if you've ever been to nappynaturalgirl.com, but we talk about a lot of different things. And I'm thinking about putting this article in the business section because I think, for one, I think that you are a thought leader when it comes to media. Like, I would consider you one of our thought leaders when it comes to media. You've definitely been one of the people that I've seen in front of that as an editor, as a writer, and now as a producer / creator, director. So I'm thinking about actually putting this in the business section. So I wanted to ask just a couple questions from the business standpoint. And my first question is, how did you come up with the investment to invest in a network like that?
Right. So we're still in the early stages of getting investment. I will say that I won a $20,000 grant December of last year to do the beta. And so initially I came up with the idea for Quality TV probably about 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. And so because it's not like it's not an online magazine. Online magazine, you could, spend $20, get a template, hire someone to make a few changes, and voila, you're in business, right? Online streaming is definitely more involved, and it's not that simple. There's no, getting a template from WordPress and calling it a day. Like, you have to have special things in place, and you have to have a tech team that really knows what they're doing. So people don't have any buffering and all of that. So I never needed money to at least initially get started. And so 3 years ago, I applied for 2 different business plan competitions. One, I was not a finalist at all. Another one, I was a finalist. And they told me the reason that they didn't choose me because they weren't sure about the future of streaming. And so I definitely became discouraged. And that was 2012, I believe. of course, I always thought I was kind of going through my Joe moment anyway. My dad was diagnosed with cancer, and I got sick. A whole bunch of things happened. My dog became paralyzed. It became a little crazy. And so 2013, I left the web domain. I had purchased Quality TV, right? I had purchased it, Quality.tv, QualityTV.com in 2012. When I didn't win those competitions, I just let it lax. And so 2013, I did not renew those domain names. And then 2014, my dad was better, and I was better. I had surgery. My dog was better, and things were, I could see a little light at the end of the tunnel. And so I saw something last year around June of last year about a business plan competition. And the thing is, I do a lot of research online. So a lot of times people are like, how do you find this? It's just go Googling, a lot of Googling, a lot of being on, like what you're doing, Aisha, when you're on part of Facebook groups that are business related or whatever, and someone posts something, right? Mm-hmm. And so in this instance, someone posted this business plan competition near you, and I was like, oh, I should apply. Of course, when I went to the site, I realized that the deadline was in 2 days, and I had to put together all this stuff, and I had to put together a 2-minute pitch video, and so literally, so I went to my husband, I was like, should I even do this? I was like, every time I try to apply for something, I never get it. He's like, well, you never know what happens until you try. So, I was like, okay, here we go again. I'm going to apply again, and kind of not being very optimistic about it. But I put my all into it. I ran over and I did my 2-minute pitch. Literally, I was up for 2 days straight, putting together this package. I did my video like 2 o'clock in the morning and sent it off, and I became a finalist. And the people who were I was up against were like people like the former publisher of Heart and Soul, and someone who was like a fellow or something, like I don't know, like the Knight Foundation. Another guy worked for Time Magazine, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot compete with these people. But I worked my ass off, and I won the money. But other than that, like that's pretty much all the money that I've gotten so far. I mean, the goal was to get like big investors to invest into Quality TV, and the reality is that it's very difficult. Black women, in particular, get less than 1% of venture capitalist angel investing money every year. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. Like that really sucks. Which means like it would be it's going to be very, 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 very difficult for me to get funding, for me to get more investment, just because it's just difficult for Black women to get money, even though we're more likely to start businesses and we're more likely to be ambitious about starting something. We're the least likely to get the money we need to grow. So in the ideal world, if I had the money, we would be doing so much more right now, but we're just starting slow because, I just don't have the money to do more. So it's very difficult. And I find out about a lot of different opportunities. I've applied for a lot of different things, and it's just not something that people so far, no one has really latched on to. A couple of investors have approached me, and, it just hasn't, worked out yet, at this point. If I had one investor tell me they weren't sure if a niche market, such as the Black market, could go public in 3 to 5 years because he wanted his money back, and if, he didn't think that we would go public because he just didn't see that the market being there rich. And so I disagreed, but, those are things you kind of hear and you just kind of have to keep, pushing forward.
Okay. So how, I think all of that is very important. And I definitely plan on, once I finish writing out this interview, sending it to you because I want to make sure that I get the integrity of everything that you're saying because it's so important, and I think women really need to read this. So the rest of the money that you were able to come up with was money that you came up with on your own. How did you, and one of the things that I try to tell people, because a lot of people are like, well, how do you come up with the money to start your business? And I'm like, I found the money. Like, I stopped getting my weekly green juice at the Earth Fair, and I saved it, and I, those kind of tips. Do you have any tips for people who are trying to put back money to start their own businesses?
Yeah. I mean, kind of like what you said. If you really want something bad enough, you really have to put your all into it. I started in Power like 6 years ago, and, for the past, I would say, 2 years, I haven't been making much money. And right now I'm not making any money. Like, literally, I'm not making a dime. The money, we are getting money from subscriptions, but all the money is going back, investing back into the filmmakers and investing back into our platform. So my husband and I haven't gone on vacation. We have a strict budget. We go to the grocery store. We still eat healthy, but we're on a strict budget. And if we don't go over that budget, and it's something that we don't want, something that we want that's over our budget, we don't get it. I'm very, very frugal. I don't go out to eat. I eat at home. I work from home. I eat at home most of the time. A lot of times people are like, but you only live once, and you want to spend your money. You can't take it with you. Yeah, but at the same time, people are living longer, and it's more likely that we will be here. And my thing is, I don't know. For me, I have a lot of willpower, okay? So a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people...
And you know what? Let me tell you something. I remember this so, like, you were like, when we met, we were having, like, a sister conversation. We've always had, like, these very intimate conversations throughout our friendship. And you told me, you said, listen, yes, I'm an editor. Yes, my husband is an architect. But, honey, I eat at home. We do not go out. We're paying back these student loans. We're clearing our credit. We're doing exactly what we have to do so that we can make our dreams come true. I remember that conversation with you, and it had to be at least, 10 years ago?
Yeah. And, I mean, we don't have any. Only debt we have now is our mortgage, and now we're working to pay that off. Like, we're putting more money toward our mortgage, so my husband wants the mortgage paid off in less than 5 years. So, yeah, I do remember that. But, yeah, I have a lot of willpower, so I'm able to sort of, quote-unquote, suffer now to be able to reach something in the future. A lot of times people, this is no living for the now, and we can live for the now sometimes. There are free things you can do. I'm in a walkable community. I can make sandwiches and go walk to a water, and we'll just sit out there and have dinner. We can buy a cheap $3 bottle of wine, because literally the wine we buy is literally $3.99. That's the wine that we buy, for real, because we can't afford any expensive wine. I just drink one glass a day, one glass will be good for you, blah, blah, blah. Drink one glass of red wine, that's it. And that's my little treat for myself. But for me, a lot of times people feel like, okay, I don't have the time. I don't have children. I don't know what it's like. I can't imagine the kids while trying to run something like this. But at the same time, like, I do take my future seriously and what I want to accomplish. So it means a lot of sacrifice. A lot of times people just don't want, it kind of sounds mean, but people don't want to sacrifice. Some people hate on Beyonce, but I have no hate for her. She works her ass off, she works hard for everything she's got. It was not easy for her. And people, because she started so young, but she still struggled like everyone else, but she kept moving forward. I think that's the thing that people have to remember is, people see people who are like, wow, look at them. And I see people like, wow, look at them. But people don't know how hard someone struggled or what they sacrificed to get to where they got to. I have a very supportive husband who understands my mission, and he supports me 100%. And he's, we're both trying to be moguls and trying to do it, And, the trip to Africa is going to happen one day. It's just not going to happen, in the next probably, 6 months or 12 months. Because we're trying to build something bigger. And I think people should remember what the bigger picture is and what they really want to accomplish. Buying some fancy car may make them feel good when they're driving down the street, but at the end of the day, what does buying a new car mean? What does that really do? How does it really help them out in the future? So for me, I just made a conscious decision to live my life on purpose and not, it's hard. We don't go clothes shopping. Honestly, like last year, we bought clothes last year because we needed it like really badly. Before then, we didn't buy clothes in like 3 years. I haven't bought myself any clothes this year, like nothing. It's November. I bought a pair of shoes because my husband put the shoes in the washer and they like crumbled or whatever, so I had to buy a new pair of sneakers because I go walking every day. But other than that, I have not bought anything this year like that. So, And so we were investing that money back into the business. And to me, reinvesting your money versus being here and now and trying to live for now and or trying to have the instant gratification. I think a lot of times it's very easy to want that instant gratification. Especially in D.C., want to go to a nice restaurant. So, for instance, let's do dinner. And shoot, D.C., for shoot, you would spend $200, easily. And then when it could go into something else. And so, for me, I just try to, be conscious about, how I spend money and how I spend my time, too.
Yeah. So, I think everything you said is important, and I see that a lot, especially because, I have the blog, and the blog has been, a little bit successful, and people come to me. And then when I start telling them what I have to do to actually run the blog, to actually get the advertising, to get the social media, to get the content, it's like, oh, no, that's not what I bargained for.
Right.
Like, I didn't know that you're actually planning content a week in advance. I didn't know that you were actually, creating that from code, and you had to learn, So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. And I'm kind of all over the place with my questions because I didn't really have any preset questions for you because I just wanted to talk and kind of see what we got and then sort of organize the interview. But I want to go back to your award show because I did see something about that, and I noticed I saw a few people that I actually knew being honored, like the Mahogany Books.
Last year.
Tell me, I've worked with her before. Tell me about the award show. What inspired the award show, and when is the next one?
So we do the show. The goal is to do it every year in June, around the second Monday in June. And so right now we're actually asking people to submit they want to nominate right now, and it's going to be until December. So my board and I were going to pick or select the award winners based off of the people who have submitted their applications. But I had the idea to do the Empower Players Awards. I didn't have a name for it at the time. Probably, I was a AmeriCorps volunteer, and I was like 22, 23. And before then, I was working for a newspaper, and I went to Buffalo, New York, because I really wanted to get back. I was young, and I really wanted to get back before the real world kicked in. And so when I was in Buffalo, I met so many people who were everyday people who were making a difference. They weren't asking for any awards. They weren't asking for accolades. They were just doing the work because they cared about their communities, they cared about the children, they cared about the singers, or whoever called, or they cared about the homeless, or they cared about the hungry. Whatever it was, they cared, and they just did it with the little resources that they had. And so I really wanted to start an awards show that will reflect those people, everyday people who are making a difference. And so that's when I came up with the ideal. Like I said, I came up with the ideal years ago, and I wrote out my idea for what I was going to be. Because, I've never had a lot of money. I wasn't sure how I could pull it off. Last year in a meeting with a friend of mine, Chanel Hardy, she used to be with the Urban League, and she's with the FCC, and so I was telling her about the Empower Players Awards and how I want to do it. So she was like, you should do it. Just do it for the money. Just DeShuna, if it's going to be, it'll work out. And so, hesitantly, I approached my board about it, and I said, I want this to be our signature event. And they said, we're going to try to make it happen. And last year, it was like the worst. It was the hardest thing ever to get that damn awards program together. My marketing team, they were horrific. I mean, literally a week before the event, I didn't know who was, the food, the alcohol. And I mean, I was paying for things out of pocket. Like, it was a total disaster. And then my husband's aunt passed away literally a week before the event. I literally prayed to God that I know it sounds mean, I prayed to God that her funeral was not on the day of my event or the day before my event. I was like, please God, let that event, not let her funeral be, not so close to my, because I wanted to go. I know I shouldn't probably pray for things like that, but I definitely did. And so her funeral was that Friday, and my husband was like, you just stay here. I was like, no, it's like, your family's going to be expecting me, so I'm going to go. So we literally drove up to Buffalo, 7-hour drive. We came back early Sunday morning because my event was that Monday. I mean, it was crazy. And but my my husband's uncle, she was one of those people. She had a pantry in her house for 20 years. And so I actually dedicated the first awards ceremony to her because she was the type of person I wanted to honor. She wasn't a fixed income, but you know, she had a pantry of stuff, and everyone knew she was the pantry lady. So people would knock on her door all times of night just give her canned goods, and they knew that if they gave it to her, she would do something with it. And she didn't have a 501c3 and board and all that. She just had a pantry, right? And so that's why I wanted to start the Empower Players Awards. And so we did the first one last year, which, turned out okay eventually. And then we had the one this year was even more awesome than last year. And so I really want to just keep going. I really like the concept of CNN heroes. And eventually the goal would be, because right now the way we do it is whatever's left over is basically the money I give to the two top leaders of good. So like last year it was like $20. It was like nothing. And this year it was like $200. So I'm hoping that, every year, we can do more for the organizations or the people that we help, and so we can, reinvest it back into their to work that they're doing. So.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And how many awards do you normally give out?
So last year we did like 1,027,000. This year we only did 15. I think I'm going to kind of keep it at between 10 and 15 mark each year. So 10 individuals and 5 organizations. That's pretty much how we did it this year. And there were over 200 people there. It was packed. I mean, it was crazy. And I always felt, it's one thing to have something in your head, right? A lot of times, like, you were saying earlier that people are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And when they tell you the hard work that's involved, they don't do it. Or, but for me, when, just like for stuff that you're doing, when you're actually have something in your head or write something out about something you want to accomplish, and then you're actually able to accomplish it. Like, for me to have an award ceremony, like, what the hell? Like, really? 250 people show up, we have music and talent and awards and, all those things. It's just like, sometimes I downplay the things that I do because, like, it's D.C. and everyone's doing something awesome. Like, I'm just a resident person in D.C. because everyone's so freaking, I don't know, just people here are just such go-getters and all that. So it used to like the little stuff you do, it's like, nothing compared to someone else. But it's, it was just to see the people in the audience when I gave my speech, and it was just, I was blown away by all the people who were there at the event, to honor other people who are making a difference. And it's just like came up in my head, and so I wanted to do, and I worked hard to do it, and so it does make you feel good knowing that I had an idea and I decided to do this regardless of the lack of finances or resources that I had.
Good. So anybody who's interested in being a sponsor for the actual network, how would, just say for example, if I wanted to, let's say, advertise my blog on the network, how do they reach out to you, or is that even possible for small business owners, or are you only looking for like really big investments? How does that look?
So we will be taking sponsors very soon. I already kind of have the framework already. So for the Empower Players Awards, we're definitely looking for, sponsors, especially coming up. The event's going to be coming up in a couple months. But as far as quality TV, our goal is to do sponsorship as well, do like a 5-second video sponsorship at the very beginning of videos. Kind of like, this is sponsored by Ford. Have you driven Ford lately? And then basically that's kind of how it will be, and then it'd be like a link within the video of so people can like click to learn more. And the way we're doing it is that the goal would be for individual small businesses to sponsor one video. So basically our sales team, our feature sales team would, give the list of videos or movies on the platform, and then just like if someone, Subway wants to specifically sponsor Super Bowl, whatever kind of, I still don't know what number it is, but they go basically, I want to, specifically, advertise while this particular show is on or this particular sports, thing is on. That's basically how quality TV will work. And we're basically giving 50% of the proceeds to the filmmaker. We'll take the other half. And it'll be a way for them to make money. It'll be a way for Black businesses to connect with people who are looking to support Black businesses. And so we're hoping to start that probably by the end of the year.
Awesome. And are you only going to be featuring films, or are you going to do other types of mediums like television, like short sitcom-like shows, or are you going to do web blogs or what?
So right now we have documentaries, we have films, we have a lot of short films on the platform. They have to be at least 8 minutes. I mean, someone sent me one that was like a minute. I'm sorry, that's just too short. But it has to at least be 8 minutes long. And we have about 9 web shows on the platform right now. We're hoping to add a health and wellness. I know we talked about that personally on there. Right now, of course, I don't have the money to pay for anyone, but if people who already have video content and they want to be on the health and wellness channel, we're going to create a space for them as well. And, but yeah, I mean, our goal is to kind of be a one-stop shop for maybe African diaspora when it comes to content. But we have, cartoons, we have animated series, we have a brother based in Germany. He has a news program that highlights Black Germans, because when he was growing up, he said he didn't see any role models who looked like him, so he decided to create something that would promote Black Germans. So we have a lot of different, very unique content on the platform that most other, organizations or the similar Urban Movie Channel or AfroStream, they may not be necessarily doing. So our goal is to be very different than what they are.
Okay. So you are accepting content in all of your categories right now?
Yes, we are definitely. Even during theater, we're definitely accepting all types of content. I want to make sure that people know that, there's a process to this. And while, we're publishing things that maybe a BET may not even look at, our goal is still to have high-quality content that people want to pay for. And so we're not going to be Black YouTube where anybody, who wants to show how to do two-strand twist, for 8 minutes will get a space, unless it's a different type of hair show where it's, it's actual hair show versus someone talking in the shower, twisting their hair. So, for me, that's very important, and so far it has been beneficial because most people are very happy with the content that is selected, and so I watch everything, and if I don't think it meets the criteria of what quality TV is all about, our mission, they're not going to be on the platform.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when it comes to content, we haven't, and I work with a lot of small business owners on content, and when they're talking to me about my channel, and they're like, well, you have a channel where you're just sitting up and you're just talking, and I'm like, yeah, because this started out as a personal channel. And I'm like, when I go and I have my professional videos done, I have 2 cameras, a microphone, lights, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have, that they're two different mediums, and while they're all respected, that you do have to draw a distinction, and I definitely understand that. We talked a little bit about the platform. We talked a little bit about Empower Magazine, and so what's next for you? Oh, you have the radio show, and we haven't talked about the radio show. Is the radio show still going on?
Yeah, it's still every Thursday from 2 to 3. Awesome.
So you've had some really interesting topics on the radio show, and I always, for some reason, I've heard it a couple of times. Sometimes when I try to get on, I can't. Sometimes I can't. I bet it's because I'm out here in the mountains, and my son was just complaining about AT&T. My son was just complaining about it this morning. But, But I have caught a few of the shows, and you always have really good content, and you talk about really interesting things that are prevalent to the community. And so, like, I see the consistency in your brand across the 3 platforms. What advice would you give to someone who's trying to brand their company, or they're, just trying to create a brand?
For me, I guess I guess you're right. I never even thought about, like, it's my brand, but I guess I do have a brand. And for me, it's always just been about not compromising myself for money or whatever. I think a lot of times people create something because they see other people doing it, and they think there's this formula. It's like when you read those, articles, Entrepreneur Magazine. These are the things. This is what the most successful do before 5 a.m. and this is what the most successful people do during lunch. This is what the most, like there's some, blueprint about what success is in branding, and you just sort of mark, okay, well, Steve Jobs did this and Oprah did this, so I'm going to do that, and that's exactly how I'm going to be successful, and that doesn't work out like that. People who are successful, which I don't really feel something really successful yet, are people who are very consistent in what they want, right? And don't mind saying no if they feel like it's not what they feel is their mission in life. Steve Jobs was an asshole, but he had a vision, and if people were not implementing his vision the way he felt would be the best for Apple, he said no. Oprah says no. I read an article about her and the fact that she wanted to make sure that her voice was prominent, and she never wanted to compromise. Back in the day in the 90s, in her shows where Jerry Springer was starting to come of age, and people were watching trash. And do you say, okay, well, everyone's now interested in trash, so let me start doing this trash, or do you say, I'm going to stick to my guns, and if people are going to watch the trash, they're going to watch the trash. If people are going to watch me. And that's basically the lane I decided to go down. Not that everyone else is doing is trash, but I decided to go down a particular lane in my life. And I guess it has created a brand. But I've been have been true to myself in everything that I do. And a lot of times, like I said, people create things about how will they make money, or how will they be rich, or how will they become famous, versus saying, what can I do, what do I love to do, and what am I good at? I'm going to take those skills and create something and see what happens, versus say, okay, this person did this, I'm going to copy what they did in order to gain that type of success, and it just doesn't happen that way. So my real advice is just say to be yourself. That's the only thing I can tell you, because if you're yourself, then you create your brand, because you're your authentic self. And I don't know, I'm sleepy, so I'm gonna be rambling now, but I'm just gonna leave it at that.
It's good. It's all good. You're like on today, actually, even without the sleep. So what's next for you? In terms of you're just looking for investors. You're taking content, and so you're building this platform. But what's next? One thing I know about you, there's always that next thing in the back of your head. Just
for me, the goal is just to continue to build a platform. The ultimate goal would be to live stream. I think you probably saw my What If. I was going to tell you, it's kind of like my manifesto, per se. I wrote that. I think it is a manifesto, the What If manifesto that I wrote. And so basically all those things that I wrote, I kind of want to implement that through Quality TV. I would love to live stream. I would love to be able to mimic how black people watch traditional television, because a lot of black people still like to kind of click on something, and whatever's there is there, and they'll watch it. I want to do that, but really make it interactive and giving people a voice so they can interact with hosts and guests in real time. I really see that being the future, and so I really want to create content. I want to create documentaries. I have a lot of ideas for shows that I want to do. I just need money to do it, of course. But I kind of see that next in creating, like I said, documentaries, web shows, films, a lot of ideas, for content. I think that would be really great. And I kind of see that as the next move, not really being a director, but just being a producer of it. And then, hiring really great, people of color to to direct and everything, and of course act. That's one thing. I'm not Oprah in this fact. I have no desire to be an actress. I don't want to be anybody's movie. I don't mind, being a CEO behind the scenes, or I don't mind doing like a show. Like I don't mind doing that, but actually reading the script and remembering lines and all that. That's not me. So, but that's kind of where I see the future. We shall see how it goes.
Well, it all sounds very exciting. I can't wait to share this with everybody on the blog.
Well, thank you for, wanting to interview me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. So you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.